Okay, welcome everybody to Real People, Real Talk, Real Issues. Today's discussion is going to be on relationships. We either are in a relationship, we are either coming out of a relationship, or we will be going into a future relationship. I have with me three gentlemen, um, Pastor Wealth, Brother McPherson, and Pastor David. And so I'm going to be moderating this and I'm going to be asking questions. And so please, if you have a question, let's uh please just jump in. And so let's get started. So my question is, we know that so Pastor Wealth, you're married, Brother McPherson, you're engaged. So it's kind of like we got two people already in a committed relationship in a marriage, and we have one that is um well, let me see, when you're engaged, already in a relationship, but haven't jumped the broom yet. So I would like to ask this question. Um, does a guy know pretty soon upon meeting a lady that um that she could be the one? Anyone jump in? Or maybe I can phrase it like this. What would you say that there, excuse me, that there is a difference between courting and dating? Oh, Brother Matt, come back on live. So I will start with you, Brother McPherson.
What? Okay. What's the question? Sorry.
The question is, does a guy pretty much know, not too long after meeting a lady, that she could be the one for him?
Sorry, I didn't get your question. I can barely hear you.
Can everybody else hear me?
We can hear you, Tanya.
Okay.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so maybe we'll start. If you heard my question, I'll start with Pastor David. Did you hear my question?
What happened is this.
I mean, because you're married and you're still a newlywed. So
I understand your question. I understand your question. I think we need to break it up, maybe so that our brother can understand what you are trying to say. Maybe Pastor Wells should break it down so that Brother Matthew may understand what Sister Tyan is trying to say. Because according to what I heard, is it possible for a before the man meets a woman to know that this lady is perfectly meant for him? I think that was the question, right?
yes.
Uh-huh. So you can go ahead, sir. That was the question, sir.
Wait, is she saying that if it is possible for a man to let
I think let me rephrase it. What she meant is this. She's saying that is it possible for a guy to just meet a lady, then after a while, then the guy is already convinced that this is the person he wants to spend the rest of his life with? Tanya, I guess that's your question, right?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. I think if I get what you're saying right, you are asking if it is right or is possible for a guy to see a lady for the first time and then be convinced that this lady is the one. Is that it?
Yes.
Good. I think they actually, if you want to talk about that, we won't look at the worldly part that says love at first sight. But if you want to look at your question, we can actually see what you are saying now in the Bible. Now, when Eliezer went to the hometown of Abraham to get Isaac a wife, Eliezer did not court Rebekah before he knew that this is the one. It was what he saw at the first meeting of that lady that summarized who the lady was and what she was all about. I heard a man of God say that he went to a meeting, and prior to that time, you can easily tell that he has met several girls. He has seen several girls. And he went for a meeting because whether you like it or not, there is something in a lady that's like, there's something you see that summarizes.
Your attention, sir.
What?
I said that commands your attention.
Yes. That makes you say, I will consider. He said he went for a meeting, and then while they were in the meeting, a question was thrown to the audience. Now, immediately the question was thrown, the light went out. It's like they took the light or something like that. The light went out. But immediately the question was thrown, a lady started answering the question. He said he was anxious inside him to see the lady that is talking, but the light was out. He said immediately the light came up, he was like, who is that person? He said that was the icing on the cake for him, that he said, no. You understand? So it's like that. It happens that you meet somebody for the first time. I'm not talking about just seeing the beauty, because when it comes to seeing the beauty alone, there are guys who are all about that. So when they see the beauty alone, they say, yes, this is the person. It's different strokes for different folks. Can you determine that by meeting somebody for the first time? Yes, you can. But notwithstanding, you still have to find out if you are right. Thank you. Sister T.
Have you completed what you were wanting to say to that, Brother McPherson?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, thank you. So, what about you, Pastor David?
All right. Just in addition to what my brother said, and to say my home part, to say my home part of it. Now, for every man that is looking for a wife, the Bible said that any man that founded a good wife obtained the favor of God. So, for every man that is looking for a wife, know what he's looking for. That's number one thing. You must have a vision of what you are looking for. You must have a vision of who the woman is. You must have a vision of the kind of person you are looking for. It's determine the kind of feed you are into. So so the person you are looking for must be the person that has the same vision that you have. Okay, you understand? That is the reason why when Adam saw Eve, without God even telling Adam that this is your wife, him himself has already declared, this is my bone, this is the flesh of my flesh, this is the person I'm looking for. This is the person that has the same vision that I have. Now, when Isaac saw Rebecca, nobody told him. He just saw him afar and he said, no, he has the convinced within himself that this is the woman. Now, the first time I met my wife, I had a voice. I had a voice very clear. This is your wife. But I rebuked that voice immediately. Because I have also had a voice like that before, not aware to me that it is devil that is talking. So immediately I had a voice, I jump into what I had. But thank God for the Holy Spirit. If not, my ministry, my life could have been destroyed. So when I now heard a voice again that says, "This is your wife," I was very, very careful. I didn't jump into conclusion. I take my time to study the person. I heard the voice that this is my wife. The first, I take my time to study the person very well, to study my wife very well. Is it the kind of person I'm looking for? Is it the kind of person that have a vision that I have? Is it the kind of person that will tolerate me? Is it the kind of person that is going to marry me with the way I have? Because then my ministry has no shape. Then I don't know how to explain this better in a way that you understand. My ministry has no shape. Then, if you see me, then you will see me as somebody that has no future. Can you understand? So it took me 6 months to study this sister. I studied her. I prayed to know more. Am I on the right track or no? So my question, so my answer to this is that for every man that is looking for a wife, know what he is looking for. And it is possible for him to saw the woman and 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 discover and said, okay, this is the woman. Why? Because he has saw the virtues he needs to see in the lady, or the vision he has already in the lady. So he or so he can conclude and say, this is the person. So that is my own contribution to this.
Thank you so much, Pastor David. You really summarized that, and I just want everybody to know that I do have some questions that have come after that. We're like setting, just kind of setting things, the foundation of 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 what in answering that question that I put out there. So thank you so much. So Pastor, well, you're next.
Okay, Sister T, good evening. Thank you so much. Pastor David, good to hear from you again. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
sir.
much.
Good to hear from
Mama
you.
Fatima, thank you so much. Okay, I think my brothers have done laid a very good foundation, but I would like to take it from another perspective. Everything they've said is correct. A man needs to know what he wants in a woman and the kind of woman he's looking for, and the kind of woman that can journey with him on his life direction. But however, when it comes to longevity in marriage, it goes beyond just finding the right person. It's also more important that the person that you have found becomes the right person. Because there's something that I would say, as a wife or as a husband, you must not be seasonal. In the sense that there are certain people that they were very happy in their marriage when they were very small, in their early days. But as their life vision began to expand, either the man or the woman began to fall out of line. So when you are married, people must also understand that marriage is a life journey. Okay, it's not just something that you get into and then you are looking forward to say, okay, let's say like 5 years, like school, 5, 6 years, you've graduated and then you move to the next thing. No. Now there will be phases in your marriage, but you must decide, consciously decide to become the right person in every season. I was talking to you some time ago, Tanya. I talked about that there are two types of wife. There is the good wife and there is the godly wife. They are not the same. Someone can be good, it doesn't mean the person is godly. But as a believer, what we need just beyond just a good wife, we need a godly wife. Now, who is a godly wife? A good wife is a woman who will help you succeed in everything you want to do, whether it's right or wrong. For example, if I'm a drug dealer, right, God forbid, and then I get a woman who is helping me to come up with strategy to move drugs around, and then we are making money from it, that's a good wife. So my situation, she is a good wife, but she's not a godly wife. And the two example, when I did the research on it, was the person of what was her name now? Jezebel was a good wife to Ahab. Jezebel helped Ahab achieve everything he wanted to achieve, even to the extent of killing Naboth, right? But another woman again was Abigail. Abigail is a symbol of a godly wife. Abigail was the woman that was able to say, okay, when the husband was right and when the husband was wrong. So when you look at these two women, I think everybody should do a study on both women. So a man doesn't just need a woman that will just help him to succeed. Beyond that, a man also needs a woman who will serve as a voice of reasoning and conscience. There are certain people today that they are on their way to hell because of the kind of woman they married. Now, the woman is helping them succeed, but they are on the wrong lane. The woman is cheering you on to say, yes, honey, yes, we can do this, we can achieve this, but at the detriment of your soul. So these are two things that we must look out for, in as much as getting to know this person, yes, but also becoming the right person and becoming the godly person that we need for marriage. Now, what I'm saying now is not just for the man alone, both sides, whether for the man or the woman. So it's not just for only the man that needs a godly husband, a wife, but the woman also needs a godly husband, because there are certain people that they are in some mess today because of the kind of man they married. They may have achieved, let's say, what we call worldly success. They've succeeded in this, but when it comes to the hereafter, they have made shipwreck. And the woman or the man who was supposed to serve as a voice of conscience was the one cheering them on the right path. So beyond just finding the right person to marry, then these are also things, areas that I do feel that people also have to also consider, because you need a woman that can, or a man that can help you grow. You need a woman or a man that can help you have a second thought in every decision you are taking, not just the one who will just be cheering you on, don't worry, we can get it, we can achieve it, because that also can be very detrimental. So that's just what I want to say, in addition to what my brothers have said. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Pastor Well. Thank you, Brother McPherson, and thank you, Pastor David. So the next question that I wanted to kind of follow up behind what you brothers have said is, so do you think it takes a long time before making that decision? In other words, like you, Pastor.
Can you speak out?
Can everyone hear me? Am I speaking? Is it, maybe it's okay?
Sorry, Mafasi, I think it should be from you. Check your phone. Maybe increase your volume because we can hear clear.
Okay, no problem. Continue, sir. Continue, ma.
Okay. So a follow-up question I wanted to ask is, do you all think that it takes, and I know it can vary with some, but there are people who are being engaged for years. They're courting for years. And sometimes in these relationships, when it's going for years, they never end up, getting married. And so, what is your thoughts on that? Do you think that that it takes a long time in order for you to determine, okay, this is the person, and we want to get married, and I want to marry her. Sorry. What is your thought on that? As far as like long term dating or courting. And with you, Pastor Wealth and Pastor David, I think well, I don't want to assume, but was it a long time? In other words, what I'm saying is, once you've figured out okay, this is who I want to be with? Did it take you a long time? Did you stay in a long term relationship? I mean, engagement. Okay, we'll start with I'll start with you, Pastor David.
All right. Your question is, did it take me a long time after I found my wife before we go into marriage? Now, once to my own contribution to this, it shouldn't take you a long time once you found what you want and you are convinced within yourself that this is the person. The other time I told you, now let me tell you a little story about myself. The other time I told you when I had a voice that this is my wife, I waited for 6 months to study the sister myself. I did a lot of text, unaware to her that I'm just texting her to know maybe it is the kind of person I move in with, to know maybe is a godly woman, to know maybe is a somebody that is going to support my vision, to know maybe somebody that will marry me because then I am nobody, I have nothing. Even when my mother-in-law heard about this, that her daughter want to be in a marriage with me, she rejected that. She refused that. She stopped the marriage. She stopped them. Don't let me call it marriage then. She stopped the relationship. Why? Because then there's nothing good to point out in my life. I'm still struggling in the ministry. I'm living in uncompleted building. What I mean by uncompleted building, I'm living in a house that has no window, that has no door, no toilet, no bedroom. So people around thought I am mad. But one thing they just not understand is that I prayed every night. I prayed every night. And there I started a church, Mountain of Canaanland Bible Church of God. Now back to the question. After 6 months, after I've seen what I want in the lady, after I am fully convinced within myself that no, this is my wife, this is the kind of person I can marry. Because then, anytime we always have a fellowship every Wednesday. The first member that always attend the fellowship is my wife. Then the first member I always see in the fellowship is my wife. I've even seen I've seen sometimes whereby it is both of us, nobody comes, both of us, we did the fellowship till we close. So after that 6 months, we waited more for another 1 year and 6 months. And something happened in between wasting the time. After we are convinced that we are both good to go. We wasted 1 year and 6 months. And something happened. What happened is that we separated. We separated for a little misunderstanding. After we separated for 1 year and some months. After God now came back to me, after God now inspired me back again, speak to me back again that my wife, I have left my wife long time ago. So I have to, at the first place, I refuse to receive that. But based on the people God sent to me, somebody called me from United States of America, seeing the same vision that God said I have left my wife alone. Another person coming the same day in Nigeria, seeing the same vision that God said to him that I have left my wife alone. After me, myself, I received the same message. So I have to look for the phone number and send her a text message. Can we just end this fight and start back the relationship? And she accepts that the fight should be ended. And immediately I realized that in the period of wasting time, devil came in to destroy the plans that God has already asked for both of us. So immediately we settled the fight. I didn't waste time anymore. I just told my wife, can we go into marriage now? Can we start planning for wedding? And this is how we start the planning for wedding. And to the glory of God, we go into series of prayers so that there can be a support. Both the mother-in-law can be in support with it. Because don't forget that I told you at the first place, she's not in support with it. But in the process of those years, God has given my life shape. God has given my ministry shape that convinced my mother-in-law that now I can give my daughter to this one to marry. So there is no point in it after you have been convinced that this is your wife or this is your husband. There is no point in wasting time in waiting for many years. Devil can destroy that relationship. Even sin will come into that relationship. Sin of lust of flesh will come into that relationship. A relationship, just like a sister that I counseled of recently. You have been in a relationship for 9 years, sleeping with that brother, and yet you are not married. Now the brother is maltreating you. You open the door. I told the sister, you open the door. You are not married. You are living a sinful life. So there's no point in wasting a year after you have been convinced that this is the right person for you. So why are you wasting years? So why are you waiting for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years? Why can't you people just plan the marriage and start counting the achievement in the marriage? So that is my contribution. There's no point in it. So that is my contribution.
Wow. That is powerful. um your your uh your testimony of that part of the other part to the question that I asked. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Pastor
You're
David,
welcome.
for your
You're
uh,
welcome.
transparency, because this is just not a video that we are just putting out there. I really take this serious because people are going to hear this. And who knows, something that each and every one of you are saying, no one is saying it has to be this way for them, because how it could come about can be different. but but um but your testimony of this, a power of a testimony, the how there's a lot of nuggets that a person can glean and get from what you shared, and I believe what um the other two brothers, what they're going to share as well. So thank you so much. Thank you. Um,
You're welcome.
so I'll go with Brother McPherson. Hello, sir.
Okay. First of all, I think first of all, I'm going to come through this angle. When it comes to courtship and dating, I fully support, or I am in full support that the longer the time, the more possible that that marriage might not hold, that the relationship might not lead to marriage. That's certain. But notwithstanding, before I talk about this, there was something Pastor David said that I quickly want to hint on. But I think the first time he spoke, so I didn't want to just interject, but I just quickly want to point out something. I think it is a constant and normal notion out there. First of all, I think there is nobody that will find treasure and not want to keep it. It's not possible. If you check marriages or relationships that have lasted 9 years, 10 years, and all those stuff, you find out that the guy is not willing. If a guy finds, you can quote this anywhere, anytime. If a guy finds what he's looking for, he doesn't waste time. Because guys are wired to be go-getters. They are go-getters. If they see a wife in you, they will actually make you a wife. But if they don't, if it's a girlfriend they see in you, or it's a bedmate they see in you, you'll be that bedmate for 9 years or 10 years. You still keep being bedmate. You'll be the one begging them to marry you. or you even be the one going taking their names to pastors to pray over them and all the stuff. It depends on what the guy sees in you. But this, what I said, I wanted to hint on that Pastor David said was that he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing, and then he quoted the Bible, Genesis, where he said, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. I've heard people say this several times, and then they say, get married. When you get married, favor starts coming in, God will just start blessing you people. Let me say this 100% time, that's not biblical. There's nowhere in the Bible that says when you get married, you get blessed. When you get married, God starts favoring you. But when you take that scripture out of context, what you now find is you find people thinking that their life gets better when they get married. It doesn't happen. So what was scripture saying when it said, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord? I think first of all, we need to understand that the favor is not what you get after you get married. The favor that you obtained from God is the woman you got married to. Why did I say the favor you obtained from God is the woman you get married to? It's because when we look at the scripture prior to this particular verse, we saw that the Bible said it is not good for man to be alone, meaning there was something amiss. And then he said, I will make him a helpmeet, meaning the helpmeet was coming from God. So the favor that God gave to Adam, that when Adam was saying, it's a favor. Hello, sorry, somebody said something.
No, sir.
Okay, so when Adam said, findeth favor in the hands of God, what he was saying is the favor you find in the hands of God or from God is the helpmeet that he has given you. Why? Because it is not good for man to be alone. I will make him a helpmeet. So when that helper comes, that was why the Bible said, two heads are better than one. Two are better than one, for they have great rewards for their labor. What now happens is that God does not give you a strange favor. What should I call it? Is bias. Okay, why will you favor the married and not favor the unmarried? So it's bias. So what happens is this. Two heads are better than one. So when you meet with somebody else and both of you are actually supposed to be, what now happens is this. You carry a grace. There's a grace over on your life or over your life. And that grace actually is for workability of purpose. And that workability of purpose is what the woman comes in to be a co-pilot. So she carries a grace as well, or a disgrace. That was what I was saying, that the favor you get depends on the woman. There are people who got married and then they became a shipwreck. There are people who got married and then they committed suicide. So it is not getting married is not getting favor from God. It depends on the person you are getting. If the person is favored, then you've gotten favor from God. If the person is not favored, is not. That's why you have to be vigilant when searching or when thinking. Okay, that being said, I don't want to flog that too much. So when it comes to the length of dating, like I said, it depends on what the guy sees in you. That's it. Depends on what the guy sees in you. Because if the guy sees an asset in you, I tell you, he will move heaven and earth to actually marry you. He will start to put his house in order to marry you. There was a guy that actually was in a place where I taught before, and that lady actually, everybody in that school agreed that this lady is an asset. And the guy that ended up marrying her was a guy also that was working in the place we were working. And we could tell that whoever marries this girl has the favor, has gotten favor times 10, because there was nothing this lady can practically not do. Is the truth. When she comes into the room, she takes over the atmosphere in the room and determines, because ladies don't understand that that's one uniqueness that God placed in them. And when she comes into a room, she determines the flow of the room. That was what she was all about. She determines the flow of the room. And that's the gift that actually every woman should possess. The ability to control how should I put it now? The ability to control the atmosphere. My mom had that. When my mom is sad, everybody in the house will feel it, not because she rubs it on everybody, because she's the one, her body language and everything controls everything. When she's happy, the same thing. There are women like that. So what I'm saying is, when a guy finds assets in you, he can even borrow to get married to you. So thank you very much. That's what I have to say.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Brother McPherson, for your input. Very, very good as well, from that perspective. So, we have Pastor Well next.
Okay, thank you so much, Tatayan. Pastor Marvasin, Brad David, Pastor David, sorry. Thank you so much for your contribution. Okay, I would like to pick it from another angle by saying, first of all, I think the beauty of life is that everybody gets to tell their own story of success. That's the beauty of life. Sometimes, in as much as length, the duration, sometimes in some situation do matters, and in other situation it doesn't matter. Now, because the thing is this, sometimes there are some relationship that should just have ended in relationship because they both were not compatible. Because I think for a man and a woman, you must understand that there is actually no perfect person per se, but you have to look out like a scale of preference to say, okay, this person can do this person cannot do this person can do this person cannot do this person. So if her merit or his merit is more than his demerit or her demerit, then you now decide to go along with the marriage. Just like my person said, when the person finds treasure in the lady, talking from the place of the guy, he will want to marry the person. Because the thing is this, is that sometimes it's the magic is not necessarily in getting married. The magic is in staying married. It is better you have a broken engagement than to have a broken marriage, because a broken marriage is a scar, whether you like it or not. To say, oh, he was once married or his first marriage didn't work out, whether you like it or not, you may have maybe your second or your third marriage turn out to be very blissful, but whether you like it or not, it's a mark, and you can't erase it, especially when you now have children from that union. So these are the things that we have to look at holistically, because sometimes what works for this person may not necessarily work for you. You may say, oh wow, in the heat of the excitement, oh, this lady is this lady is this. That is why sometimes as a man, I think the first thing before you even think about settling down or bringing or allowing anybody into your space, you first of all must find yourself. You first of all must find, okay, what am I about? And what is my life for? What is my goal? And what is my pursuit? That will actually determine the kind of person that you let into your space. Because sometimes when people, especially when either the guy or especially ladies, when they feel, oh, I need to be married now, many of them, they are good actors. They will be willing to say anything and do anything just to get the space or to look like what this person, especially when the lady is already interested in this brother. They can become very good actors. And at the end of the day, one thing about acting is that every acting has an expiring date. Eventually, when her place is secured as a wife, her true self is revealed. And in the process of that, then they begin to have issues in their marriage, which sometimes inevitable, it will end in divorce. So these are areas, like my brothers have said, this are also another area that I also want us to look at it from. Because sometimes when you look at the issue of marriage, the issue of marriage can be very complicated and also very simple. It depends on the personality that is involved in that relationship. What worked for Mr. David may not necessarily work for me. What works for Mafasi may not necessarily work for me, or what works for you, Satanya, may not necessarily work for me. we are all differently wired and we all have our different uniqueness. So when you look at all these things as a person, I think it boils down to who you truly are. Because most of the time, people don't understand that they attract who they are. And sometimes because these people, they are not even comfortable with who they are, and they are looking for that other perfect person in another person, forgetting that many of the time your marriage will turn out to be who you are, not what you want to be. So when some of these people start having this expectation, okay, when I get married, I'm going to fix this in my life. When I get married, and then they are already cropping up problems, waiting for, oh, when I get married, I'm going to fix this. Like my pastor said just now, when the person finds it, that's the best time before marriage that you start putting your house in order. Because if you don't, it is going to have a ripple effect later on your marriage. And sometimes you can meet the right person for you, and then because there are certain baggages that you have not dealt with, that may end up destroying your marriage. So the bottom line is this: the beauty of life, like I said, is every one of us being able to tell our own success story. Find yourself, know what you want, and then begin to walk along. And that also will control and determine the kind of people you allow into your space, so that at the end of the day, you can tell your successful. Because what we are not just looking for a story to tell concerning our marriage, we are looking for successful story to tell. That's just my 2 cents words. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Pastor.
Hello, Sister Tanya. Please, can I just add this to it
Yes,
before you continue?
yes,
All
please.
right, all right.
Yes, yes.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, Pastor Wells. Thank you, Brother Master. Thank you so much. There's something I would like to add to this. Concerning the scripture you quoted, and concerning, I'm talking about, I wanted to talk on two things. Number one, I want to talk on the scripture you quoted, that the Lord said, that the word of God said, the Bible said, that he that founded a good wife obtained favor from the Lord. Yeah. When you study the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 4, when the Bible is talking about the relationship of two persons, it gets to a point, the Bible is trying to tell us there that they are going to get to a starting point that a single person will not be able to overcome a battle. That you need somebody beside you to fight with you for you to overcome the battle. So I think that was the favor God is trying to talk about there. Because now let me explain this. I did not plan for marriage. But so many times I have found opportunity to come to United States of America for a crusade. I was being invited by a white man. But each time everything used to turn, everything used to turn out, ended that I would not even go. So I don't understand what is happening. It happened 6 times. So the 7 times I have to run into the bush and talk to God. I myself alone in inside a thick forest. I was talking to God that, Lord, I want to know the reason why I've been having opportunity to travel to United States to go and preach your word, and everything used to turn down. I prayed for good 4 hours in the wilderness. Then I came back home. So after I came back home, when I was praying, God did not say anything. He didn't speak a word. So after I came back home, I slept. And the Lord appeared to me in my dream. And he said to me, son, you can't go unless you marry. Go and marry. And the Lord said to me that if I allow you to go without being married, the ministry I commit in your hand will be destroyed. Your life yourself will be destroyed because you will end up marrying a wrong person over there. So go and marry. It was then I started praying about marriage. Now, when the Bible said, when you found a good wife, I want you to know that not everybody that married a good wife. And a good wife doesn't mean that When you marry the woman, everything will begin to work fine for you. You will have a big mansion. You begin to ride on a good car. No, that is not what the Bible is talking about. But God, the Bible is talking about a good wife. The Bible is talking about a woman that is going to stay with you when you are passing through challenges, when things are tough for you. The woman will still stay with you, just like what Pastor Wells said. There are difference between a godly woman and a good wife. But when you obtain a good wife in a godly way, because the Bible is talking about it, so the Bible is pointing out to a godly woman, not a good woman in another way around. So when you found a good wife, is going to fight with you. I think after my marriage, we faced a lot of storm, and my wife did not tell because of the storm is no more longer doing again. We faced a lot, but we fight it together, and to the glory of God, we're able to come out of the storm. So when the Bible is talking about he that founded a good wife obtained the favor of God, the favor is that for you founding a wife that is good, because there are many ladies outside there that are bad. So the favor is that you found a good wife. Now, the second point that I want to talk about there, what is the point of you wasting a life of a lady that you know you will not marry? Once you did not find what you want in the life of the lady, why can't you allow her to go as a godly brother? Once you found a lady and you did not see the treasure you want in her, let her go. Instead of you destroying her life, instead of you wasting her years. And to a sister, what is the point of you staying with a man that is not ready to put you in his house as a wife? You are into that marriage 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. The man is not ready. He's not even talking about marriage. Why can't you quit and look for somebody else? So there's no point for a brother wasting the years of a lady, telling her different lies, putting her mind at rest that he's going to marry her. Why you know that you could not find a treasure that you need in her life? Why can't you just let her go and look for a lady you need? So that's all. Thank you. God bless.
Wow, thank you. Thank you, Pastor David. That is surely, um, I believe it's going to help so many individuals. And I see that Pastor Wealth, I think he um dropped off. So I will go ahead and just kind of have some last words. Um, every one of you said some really good golden nuggets that my hope is that the listeners who will hear um, this interview or this discussion, I would say more so of this discussion, that they will find something in it that will help them. Just as each and every one of us are testimonies. Welcome back, Pastor Well. Just like all of our different testimonies, or as they are, how we came to the Lord, and how that is, um, each and every one of you, of what you mentioned and what you shared. It's unique, and some of it is, if probably not all, personal to you. I really like the end part of what you said, Pastor David. It kind of like a big summarizing everything that, if you know that the person is not for you, and it could be the woman or either the man, but since it's all you men here except for me as the lady, what I'm hearing is that, do the right thing, especially if you say you are a believer, a Christian. Why waste the lady's time? Because ladies, a lot of times, I'm not speaking for every lady by any mean, will hold on and hold on to the hope that, oh, he's gonna marry me, he said he's going to, he proposed, you might even have a ring, and then the time is going, then before you know, the years is going, and then wham, something happens, and then the guy's like, he's gone, like, no, changes his mind, and you have a right to change your mind, you do, but I just really like what you said, how if you know this person is the one, you have no doubt, then why waste time? Um, and and um, and so you said it perfect. I like how you said that. To just continue to keep a person holding on, what are you doing? That's another person's life, and you can't get the years back. You surely cannot. And so this was a very respectful, even if there was some things, of each person a little different. And I just want to once again thank everyone for joining in. I'm sure we're probably gonna this is gonna be one of those discussions that I believe that the viewers and the people who view this video will have comments, and we can even have more people to join in on this. I think a very important topic. So, does anyone else have anything else they would like to say before we sign off? Okay. So, with that said, once again, thank you for joining, and thank you, you all who will be looking at this. And please, if you have enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Real people, real talk, real issues. Thank you all so much for joining. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.